A group of seniors in Summerside is getting a jump start on sharing their family stories. Many have always wanted to put together their memories, and some have even started, but the East Prince Seniors Initiative is helping them get the projects underway. They recently offered a workshop called Sharing Your Stories and Memories. Island Morning's Nancy Russell dropped into one of the sessions at Credit Union Place in Summerside.
Good morning. My name is Karen Thompson. I live in the Summerside area. Well, I saw this advertised. I thought it was a very interesting way to get me started thinking about my ancestors.
Have you done any of this work yet in your family?
Some work has been done with some of my relatives, but for my immediate family, I need to do this for them.
I'm Gloria Skierman from East Prince Seniors Initiative. Most kids and grandkids know us as mom, dad, Grammy, Grampy, but not necessarily as a real person. So a lot of it was around sharing stories like, did you go to the prom, or what was it like? What toys did you play with when you were little? Or questions that natural storytellers do tell, but there aren't that many natural storytellers.
See, that's funny that you say that, because I think everybody would consider that telling your grandchildren or children a story is a natural thing.
It is to a certain extent, but I think it depends on how connected you are to the past, to your family, to the life experiences that you've had. Some people just find it a lot easier than others do.
Hi, my name is Nancy Butler. I need to find more words and more ways of putting it down with more meaning to it. And plus, I also want to honor my ancestors who came here from Ireland. It's my job to pass that on to my children and grandchildren.
We wanted to share some tips on how to get started, to share some topics that they might find helpful in starting it. Tell me a funny story. That seems pretty not very intimidating. But as the day went by and people were sharing stories about their childhoods or their grandparents or whatever, we came to the realization that remembering was a lot of fun for us too.
I think a lot of people around the table this morning understand the importance of bringing forward the past from their families, to give a sense of connection to children and grandchildren, to keep the stories real and alive of what it was like back in perhaps my grandfather's day, my father's day, and to share perhaps what life was like when I was a child.
What are some of the obstacles that people have encountered to getting started with this?
I think just doing it. We have lots of thoughts in our heads. Perhaps we just don't take the time to sit down and start a process. This has been a great way to kickstart the whole process for us and to be a little more disciplined about it as well.
What are some of the techniques that you talked about to share those memories?
Oh, we talked about the many ways, whether it's writing or using pictures or scrapbooks, or there are so many ways that you can do it. Or you can take the children for a drive and they can't jump out of the car and they're spellbound by your stories until you can get where you're going.
Albums with little stories to go with each picture, audio, videos, and the latest would be a blog.
We talked about blogs and we talked about, digital media and that kind of thing. And one person in particular said, I'm kind of an old-fashioned person. I want my handwriting on it and my pictures. And I said, I think that's great. It can be whatever you want it to be.
How hard is it to get started on a project like this?
If it's something you're not necessarily natural at, it takes a while, but we gave some tips on how to do it and setting a time and a place to do it and make some notes and how to be successful.
What I take from this session today is that I got to get busy. I have to write my story. I have to honor my grandparents. The first settlers that came here on my mom's side came around 1843, and on my dad's side, they came about 1800. So I have a lot of generations to work on. I have pictures. I have stories in my head. My children and my grandchildren are starting to ask stories. So
I am going to go home and take some time, think about the process I want to use. I will probably go back as far as I can remember with my ancestors and decide how I want to and what I want to put down about them and bring that forward. Hopefully I'll be able to do some tapes, videos.
How does it make it easier doing it as a group?
Well, that was the most fun part of all, because when people were telling stories, they quickly came to the realization how important their stories are. Because as they tell a story and we would react in one way or another, they got that their children or grandchildren would too. So it was great. It's the way to do it, I think.
Sitting around the table this morning and listening to other people talk about their memories, the memories that they have of their ancestors, triggered a lot of things that I had forgotten. And as I was listening, I did jot things down that I do want to bring forward to this process that I'm involved in. It's been wonderful sharing.
Being in a group like this, it's like you've already got the book written. Every person is a chapter. We just have to get it in writing or on a video, whatever way we have of putting it together.
We've asked people to try it at home this week. When they come back, if they've run into any snags or any issues that kept them from doing a good job in their minds, then we'll process that as a group and give some tips or hints, or did you try this or did you try that?
There was some chat at the end about having this as an ongoing group.
I think it would be great. We've done that with our computer club. They just come in and do whatever they want. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you can have a book club, perhaps you can have a writing club. We'll chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gloria Skierman's the executive director of the East Prince Seniors Initiative. Karen Thompson and Nancy Butler, participants at the workshop called Sharing Your Stories and Memories. They were speaking with Island Morning's Nancy Russell. We do have a short video about the session on our Facebook page. You can check it out at CBC Prince Edward Island.